right. Good afternoon, Peter. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you. And thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me on your lunch hour. I do greatly appreciate that while we were trying to coordinate a nice time for us to connect a few minutes virtually. So we've already had a pretty great chat with your current experience. I mean, my goodness, you've got really good long tenure of great experience in the property management, real estate, leasing realm, if you will. Lots of great software experience and technical experience. Why don't you go ahead and kind of walk me through your experience where you've worked? I'll give you the floor.
Okay. I've worked, kind of some different jobs. I've worked as a tech support manager. I've owned a car dealership. I've owned a carpet cleaning company, but I've been in real estate primarily for like the past 20 something years. And uh, most of that has been in leasing. I've been doing uh, property management here and there. Kind of different jobs required that for me to do that, but mostly in sales. I do a lot of marketing, and I've been one of those people that embraces technology as soon as it comes out, and I've been out there shooting videos for leasing jobs for many years now, and I was like one of the first people doing that. I have hundreds of videos posted up for that. But I'm always looking for ways to make the jobs more efficient. I try and work with people, a lot of people who are out of state, and help them if they're looking for places to lease. Many of them can't come and tour in person. That's why I shoot the videos, and I rent a lot of properties that way. But I've also worked as an analyst when I was with Renter's Warehouse. We were hooked up with a hedge fund, and we would analyze all the properties on the market within specific zip codes that I was assigned. I would reach out, actually purchase properties on their behalf, um, as an agent, and then follow that property all the way through the rehab phase, get the property online for new tenants, and follow that all the way through until we lease the property out, and then we would manage the property. So pretty much full life cycle with that. Right
Wow.
now I'm
Okay.
yeah.
Now, do you
Right,
have your real estate license?
I don't have a real estate license in Florida at this point. At this time, I'm still licensed in Colorado.
Okay.
I just took and put my license, hung it with a different brokerage, which kind of specializes in referrals. But right now, I am actually working with one realtor who um, has me helping him out with his park models, which you
Hmm.
don't need to be licensed to sell those. It's more
Okay.
like, like selling a car than it is selling a house. So I'm helping him with that, and I'm also helping him out with some leasing, but that's very, very part time. And then the other thing I'm doing right now is leasing at an apartment complex, but I'm looking for something, more challenging and a little bit more long term than what I'm doing
Sure.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what about like I see that you're a business owner, so I mean you have that the ownership mentality. What about a support mentality? Because you've done it looks like a lot of leading. Tell me about a time where you've done some support, maybe to support maybe another agent.
Um, when I was working for Echo Summit Property Management, I was in charge of about 150 properties, and part of that was helping to support the maintenance department because we had so many properties that, and there was a lot of turnover in maintenance. So there was a maintenance manager, and him and I worked very closely together to try and help his new people to get up to speed as to what the expectations were when they were going out and working on the different properties that we have. Because there's always constant problems, especially with turnovers. When you have new people who are coming in, new tenants that are coming in, there's always a couple little things that need to be tweaked after they first move in, maybe something isn't as clean as it needs to be or something like that. So I worked very closely with them, and we kind of put together like a little training program and a checklist of things that you need to go through every time that you're, speaking with a tenant. These are the types of questions that you need to ask, and then setting expectations about, how you have to be friendly and make sure that the tenants are well taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So there was a position that I saw recently that I thought of you for. And I thought of you because of your marketing experience. I mean, the videos are genius. I mean, you were doing them way before everybody else kind of jumped on that bandwagon. Your marketing, the way that you have been doing all of that with your projects and such. And for your own personal brand, I think that was super important. But I do know someone that's hiring, and this agent has basically grown her market over 15% in a down market, which of course we all know that we're in right now with real estate.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
so, yeah, absolutely. So she's looking for a director of operations, basically to assist her in the day-to-day operations of the systems, proactive problem solving, oversight of all the listings, transactions, the marketing, basically all the things that you've already done, partnering with vendors, support staff, and operation resources. So that is something that I think could potentially be a really good option for you. I'm happy to make that connection for you if that's something that you think you might be interested in.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the interview. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about salary and everything that I know of based on that posting. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the interview, but don't go anywhere. A few more
Okay,
things to talk about.
thanks.